Like, okay, I will start with the brush tool. So you can scribble anything, or you want to draw anything, you can do it. So before that, if you do anything in your background layer, um, it's like background in this layers panel, background layer is something you have it for the permanent. So you can, here is several icons. So here is the new layer, which you can create a new layer, and you can make a group, and there are series of icons, and I will tell about them later. So create a new layer. Create a new layer. So if you off the layers has basically three important roles. One is you can switch on and off the layers. Like, this can be the eye, the something you see like the eye is, you can on and off, and you can lock them. Every a background layer is always permanent. Like, you can lock them. You cannot move that layer with the help of any tools. So it will show you can't move them. So according to Photoshop, if you start working in layers, it's like the basic thing you can do, and you can easily make stuffs through layers. So understanding layers might take a bit time, but it's quite easy to use if you get to know them well. So I have, like, I will hide my background layer. So this layer is empty, it's transparent. So how to make them uh, like with a color, or the color you need. So I will double click on the color palette, so I will be able to choose any colors I want. So I will choose with gray, and you will be able to find a color in the above. If you want to switch the color between the below and the above, you can just click on to the switch arrows. So you will be able to find the color beneath, and the underneath color will be able to see different. So if you just need to change them, the color you want, the whole spread should be in the color you want. So in the keyboard, you can select control and backspace. You should click them like at a time, control and backspace. The whole artboard changes into that single color. So if you create a new um, layer, you want them to turn up into some color, so you can do that. And let's say I will lock this layer by clicking onto the like small lock icon over there. So the topmost icon in the toolbar is the move tool. So you are not able to move that because you have locked it. If you unlock it, you will be able to move the whole thing. And I will lock it. So I will use the next layer. So you can create how many layers you want. It's like n number of it according to you. You can like create how many layers you want. So I will select the another layer, and these icon. So I will go into the drawing tools. Like, you can right click on the rectangle over here, so you'll be able to see several tools. Like, you can draw a rectangle or a triangle, anything you want. So you can change the thickness of the outer border. And also you can change the color of the stroke by using the options toolbar. And even you can fill on with the color. So, and it when you use a shape, it appears to be a vector, and you can move through them. Even if you lock it, you can't move it, and a pop-up menu appears. You can't move the two. So I will remove it. Okay. Next is the brush tools, and these tools, like, you can customize yourself in drawing things. Like, you can draw anything you want. So I will choose some other color. Just double clicking to the color, you can the pop-up menu appears. Okay, and you can draw something you want. Even it goes with the pencil and everything. And you need to resize your brush, and with the options toolbar you can select anything, any kind of brush you need. Like, um, there are several types of brushes will be available, like, in the tab. So you can select any one of them you need, and you can size the brush accordingly. So I have drawn something wrong, and how should I, like, get back to the thing? You can use Control Z for the first time, and the next time you need to erase two more of them, and you should, like, Control Alt Z, Control Alt Z. So it gets erased. It's basically it's undoing. You want to redo them, Control Z, and you will get them. So Control Alt Z, Control Alt Z. And so I will make a round over here, and I will fill them with some shades of gray, or okay, let me fill with it black. And how can I change the opacity of the current layer? So here you can change the opacity of whatever layer you are using. So I need to reduce the whole things opacity down. You can reduce them, and later on, if you need it, you can increase them. So I will keep in some normal opacity. Okay, 32 is fine. And I want this ellipse to be behind the line. So I just put it behind the line. So you can switch into the layers like this, back and forth. So it will be easy to overlap things. You can decide which should be in front, which should be in back. So by using the layers, you can move through everything. Like, if I want this rectangle to be back of the layer one, so I will just drag and put them behind. So it is not visible. So you can switch between the layers like this. And let me show. So the layer one, I need to rename. So I have created a layer, but I don't know, like, which layer is what. So I can rename it easily by just double clicking over the layer one. So I can name it as background gray and click enter. So this is a section line. Let me name it as section line. So if you put this background G in front, the whole thing gets disappeared, and when you put it in between, the ellipse is in the back, so you won't be able to see the whole thing. So when it's like, I hope you understood, like the whole thing is about switching on the layers. And okay, if I need to select uh, the section line, so I will take rectangular selection tool. There are next we will see the selection tool. So there are several types of selection tools. There are many ways to select. It depends upon what kind of thing you need to select. So very easy to select is, if I need to select this line, it's already easy to move. So because it's in a separate layer, so I need to select this line. So I select this, the whole thing, and click on to the move, and just move with this, the line gets selected. So with the help of the alt keyboard in the keyboard, you can click on to the alt, and a copy of the selected line gets appeared. So you can create how many ever lines you need with the help of the alt tool. So I will get back with the one, and you can uh, to deselect, you can use the shortcut control D. Use control D for deselect. And the another way of selecting something is, you can use a magic pointer tool, so where it selects only a particular colors. Wait a minute. So I have drawn several lines. So you need to select something like this. So the magic man tools allows you to select a particular color. It's just decodes your color, the color you need. And I need to select the similar type of color that's in the particular layer. So I will just go on to the selection, and you can select similar. So it selects all the similar colors that appears in the particular layer. So it basically works on the layer and how it goes with. Or you can right click, and you will be able to see the similar. So you can use the vice versa you need. And if you need, if the whole thing moves when it's in a single layer, the all the stuffs in that particular layer moves. So you can use the selection tool, and you can move that individual easily. So control D, and I will use control Z alt. The next type of tool is the lasso tool. So this tool just allows you to select by just making around over here. So it's a very free flowing tool. You can scribble, and you can select the particular thing you need. So I have taken a part of it. Select, and you can make around or you need some of this portion, you can click and leave, select the move, and you can move. Okay. Next is the crop tool. You can use this to crop your artboard, and you can tick onto it. So the whole artboards get cropped according to the amount of the sheet size you need. You just want to chop this uh, bottom part, you can just crop them and select OK. Click onto the tick. If I'm okay, this tool is something which helps you to select the shades which you have used. So sometimes you have used a random shade which might not, you may not remember the particular shade. So this eyedropping tool helps you to select. So when you select a black, you will be able to see what color you have been selected. In the left tool bar, the what I selected was black, and it changes when you select them. So that's if you need to, like, I'm using a brush tool. I'm using a brush tool and I need some other color, and you can just click onto it and you can use it. You just need to select them. So I may use some a random color to paint. So I don't remember. I mean, I can't remember the particular color I have selected. So you can take it with the eyedropping tool and you can add it in the swatches panel. So all that you need to do is just click on to the new, and it will ask you, like, you can name it or you can keep it as swatch 56, like the default number of swatch you have been used. So I will click on to OK, and the right below you will be able to see the color has been added. So in future you need to use the same color, you can use them, like I use brown and I use this, and I need the blue back, so I use these swatches to again use them. And next is the clone stamp tool, and this tool is quite what to say, it's very useful when you edit something photos, or you want to remove something from the background, or you need to correct a particular mistakes. So you okay, I'll make the brush size quite big. So you can click on to the alt, uh, the tool, the cursor changes into some spotting thing. So I need to want I need to edit this part of the thing to the color, to correct them. Like I click on to the alt and I will select on to the this place, and I'm clicking on, leave the alt and just move through, so you will be able to see the replacing of something. So I click on here with the alt hold. So hold on to your alt and click on, so leave the alt now, and you'll be able to see something is coming along with you, and you can just click and draw, the same thing appears. So if you're correcting with image or with some drawings, it will be very useful to correct them. So I don't need this every time. I don't need to erase something. So all I need is click onto the alt and just go through. So the same thing appears. And erase tool. So it erases. So according to the opacity. So it erases what's in the current layer. If I erase something from the layer which I selected, it get erased, and I need to erase my background layer. So click on to the background layer and you can erase them. So if you work in proper layers, it will help you in many ways. So let me trying erasing the ellipse, and you can't erase it because it's in the vector. So what you need to do is right click onto it and you can rasterize the layer. So now it becomes like a rastered layer. So you can erase it easily. When it's vector, you cannot erase it because let me tell you the difference between the pixels and vectors. The pixels are something which each box is a pixel, and each one grades its color according to it. When it's a vector, it's just infinity thing. The AutoCAD, Illustrator, InDesign are vector files. So it's just no. The AutoCAD and Illustrator are mainly drawing softwares, or you can edit them. So they are basically on vectors, and Photoshops are in pixels. Pixels make you would have heard the name. It got pixelated, and if it's in a proper resolution, the normal resolution is 300, and it's in a proper resolution. It has the very less thing to get pixelated, and it's basically how you can change a vector image to a raster. If you import an image, it imports in a vector. So something you import from a vector software, it appears to be a vector, and you can just right click on the thing and you can just rasterize the layer. Now it's rastered, so it's not visible. So if the option is given, you can do them. And um, next thing is paint bucket tool. Everyone knows very well. So you can clicking on to the thing, you can. So you'll be able to see layers with a tick box in the options bar. So if it's not in tick, the whole thing gets colored. If it's in tick, only it takes the amount of lines it sees. Like it gives you a border, like it will be colored through it. So basically the layer tick is to it's checked because to do in between lines. So I need to color only this portion, so it gets into the line. If it's not ticked, it colors the whole area. So it's always preferred to be in tick. So because when we do our plans and sections, everything should fit into the line and it should be checked in. So this is the blur, sharpen and smudge tool. These behave like quite similar ways. As I said, like in a particular tool, similar type of tools are kept. So the edge gets smudged when you use a smudge or something. just try on to it. The edge, you will be able to compare to this edge and this edge. When you click onto it, it gets smudged. Okay. Uh, Next we will go to the pen tool. So this dodge tool, smudge tool, and sponge tool, it's like similar to the blur tool, but it's not oftenly used for our type of drawings. So we will learn it maybe later. So we will use pen tool. So pen tool it's quite interesting. You would be able to do easily stuffs with the help of pen tool, because like, okay, let me clean my artboard now. So I will off the layers. So I will have a white background with by clicking Control Backspace. So I have offed all my layers now, and I'm currently using the layer 1 now. So now I will make a ellipse. So with some colors filled in. Or I don't need a border now. So I am. So I want to select uh, this line is quite clumsy, so I want to make them straight. So I click on to the pen tool. So there are like free form pen tool and etc. So these are quite similar to the basic pen tool. So click on to the pen tool and just click on to the lines. So I need this portion of my thing to be quite straight. So I am selecting on to it. So select them and you make sure you end at the place where you started. So it may be a polyline or something, but you should end at the point you started. So right click on, and you'll be able to see several types of commands. So click on to the make selection and click OK. The whole thing gets selected. So now I can use a brush tool and just get filled in. So only the selected portion is filled and other things won't get affected. Now you select on to the erase. You can even erase something inside it. Control Z. So I need to erase the thing except what I have selected right now. So you can easily inverse the selection by select inverse. And now the whole thing gets selected except this portion. So it's easy to erase. And even right clicking on your board, you will have the tab to change the size, type of brush strokes you need. So even for erase it's available, and for brush too it's available. So you can change onto it and you can erase them easily, and you can deselect by control D. So this portion is straight, but whenever I use my brush tool, I can't, like, I need to make a straight horizontal line. And how would I do that with the help of brush? So all that you need is click on to a edge of the artboard, click shift and just drag the mouse. You will get a straight line with the help of brush. Or you need a cross line, you can just click onto here and hold shift and click at the other end. You will be able to see a straight line which not clumsy, and it won't be disturbing you. All right. So by Control Z or Control Z Alt, you'll be able to remove it, or you can. Okay. Next is the text bar. So whatever you need to type in, you can type in, and you can color them like whatever color you need, or you can change the size by selecting this. The type of font you need. So it's quite useful uh, when you need to name your diagrams. So give a check on. So something you have typed will be a layer, so you can move on when it's, and when you type into the text box, it automatically creates as a individual layer. So there is no need to be like you should be conscious that it's in a separate layer. Text are always in a separate layer. Next are path selection, and these are rectangular tools which I told you, and this is a hand tool. So it makes you to move your artboard. So, and this is zooming in and on. So this is quite what to say, it's quite difficult to every time zoom in with the help of the zoom tool. So when you have your settings like this, edit, preferences, and click on to general, so you will be able to see a popping up menu, and it has like several things related to like plugins, units, rurals, I mean transparency, everything. So in general, you can check into zoom with scroll wheel, check into uh, zoom with scroll wheel, and click OK. So you will be able to scroll with your mouse scroller to zoom in and out. So when I am in like move, you can scroll in and out. So it's quite easy when you are in work. And these are the things like can choose your color and everything. Yeah. So And in the right, you can customize like what are the icons you need to be visible and what are the palettes that you need to use, and it changes according to a person. But with the help of the windows, you can check in to like whatever you need. If I need a brush, I get a brush panel, so I can make this short and I can move and I can place it here. And it can be used like you can clicking into the arrow, you can use them. So you can place it over here, it gets permanent. Like you can have how many number of panels you want, but it depends upon which you use frequently and what type of tools you need. So these are selection. I told you can inverse them, you can deselect or you can reselect what you have selected at the last. And the main thing, you have several things overlapped, and I just don't know where is like which layer I have used for what. So you can, if I need to select this black line, I just right click on it. So it gives me several options like the layer one is the white artboard at the back, the ellipse, the gray ellipse, and the layer two, which is the line. So it changes accordingly. If I right click on the ellipse, so it shows ellipse and the layer one. So what's behind you have selected shows in this popping up bar. So this shows only layer one, and this shows only ellipse and layer two. And clicking onto the pink shows pink, ellipse two, and layer one. So if you need to select, I want to make this as a current layer, I want to make my ellipse as a current layer, just right click and select ellipse. The ellipse becomes the current layer. So if I need my section line to be the current layer, so click onto the layer 2 and it becomes my current layer. It can move through it. So I want to duplicate this section line. So what should I do? Just click on to the selecting rectangle or magic wand tool, anything it might be. So select the whole thing and click on to the move tool. So this gets selected, the thing in the layer gets selected. So just control C plus control V, another layer is created and you will be able to see a separate layer. If you see, there are two ways to copy them. If you need it in a separate layer, you need to like select and click on to the copy and paste. So copy, paste. So when it's selected, you need to copy and paste. So it appears in a separate layer. Whether when you need it in the same layer, just you need to select this and click on to the alt. So the cursor changes into be a two thing. So it shows that it's going to be copied. So click on to the alt and select and pull it out. So this appears in a single layer. So when you use the alt to select, it reappears in the same layer, and when you use control C plus control V, gives you in a new layer. So then I don't need this, I only need this. So to deselect, you can off them, on them for your visibility. So when I off them, the selection still appears, and you can just click, you can just give a control D to deselect. And when the layer is off, it's like you cannot draw anything. So the cursor changes into like you can't use it. So when you click onto it, like the tool gives you a pop-up, the layer is hidden. So when you select onto the layer 3, and the brush works. So the visibility also matters when you switch on to the layers. So I need the pin to be behind their lips so it's not visible. So these are the basic things to work around. So the main and the most important is to working on the layers, the visibility, and how you switch between the layers. Make sure you, like, every time when you draw something, be conscious that you are drawing in the correct layer, so that you can erase it, or you can edit it, or you can just off the visibility off. It is easy when you works in layers. So I prefer you to work in layers. And if you need to like make the opacity less, if it's in layers, you can easily like increase or decrease your visibility. So it gives, when the opacity is low, the the art the layer behind is quite visible and it gets overlapped. So these kind of thing are used you start doing uh, when you start doing sections and plans. So it gives you more of depth to your drawings when the opacities are quite differ from one layer to another. So it gives a kind of depth, rather than choosing a very light color in your drawing and just keeping the opacity at high in drawing. It makes the over the image. When you reduce the opacity, you will be able to see the underneath. So you should be like conscious where to use the low opacity and where to use um, the full opacity. So this is just to overlap and give you a kind of depth to image. And another thing that's very easily done in Photoshop is when you go for a drawing, or you just make a simple diagrams for your conceptual levels, and all you need is there are several type of brushes in websites. So you can just uh, type into it like free brushes for Photoshop or Photoshop brushes. So there are several type of brushes which are available uh, in Google or in internet. So all you need is you can download them. It's free, and the downloaded file is in a zip version. So you can extract them, and after extracting the brush in your lab, you can click into so make sure the brush is selected, and the arrow, and there is a small icon in the settings, like icon kind of a setting. So click onto it, and you will be able to see load brushes. So this option, load brushes, allows you to select on the type of file or type of brush you have downloaded. So loading on to the brush allows you to like download several type of brushes. Like you can select how many number of brushes you need, and you can just if it's like it's a basic level diagram for your conceptual level, you need to do it quite quick. These kind of brushes are very easy to use them, and it's in like whatever brushes you need to need a plan. You can use them. You can use humans brushes. You can use it accordingly. So I have some brushes like trees. So I may create a new layer and rename it as trees. And place them. So this is quite easy to do. So what if I need to I should give some depth to my image. So what can I do is you can just click on to the brush size, or it's not necessarily like every time you need to click on to the I icon in the options bar. You can just right click and you can resize your brushes. So I need something to be placed in the behind. So I use this, but here when I said you can moderate your opacity. Now I need the tree at behind should be a kind of less opacity. So what do I do is you can reduce your opacity, so it differs in shape. So it gives a kind of like the tree is quite far from the thing you are seeing. So I can resize my brushes, and just I can just place them wherever I need it. So I can use a shade, tall tree. So it gives you something just in front, and those things are at behind. So I have some human brushes too. So let me select that. So you can right click and you can size them. Okay. So I need to make them like I need to kind of alter this brush with I need to like slightly I need to make them angle. So what can I do? So here comes the transformation tool. So the transformation tool allows you to give some corrections and you can transform a bit. So all you need to do is Control T, and the whole thing gets selected. So the layer has these trees and humans. So what I do is I just click on to Control Z. So my humans are erased, and I create a new layer, and I create like human, and I just keep on to my brush here. So the thing I said, like working in layers is quite important, is all this. You need to be sure that each brush can be placed in some other layer too. So each brush and each thing can be in a separate layer, so it's easy to get you can edit. So Control T, uh, because the human layer has the only thing over here, so you can just with the help of Control T you can transform them as you wish, or like you can move them. right click, you can rotate, you can flip them like horizontal or vertical, and you can scale them or you can make them big. With the help of shift, you can scale it with the actual scale. When you are not clicking into the shift, it gets like it goes weird. When you click with the shift, you can easily zoom in, zoom out, you can make it big or small. So I make them quite small, and I want to place them somewhere here. And I select OK. So I need to keep the multiple opacity. So you can see these trees get overlapped in the front. So what should we do? Like the section line should be in the top so that these trunks of the trees might not appear. So should not appear, right? So I just pull my layer, section line layer in the top so that it's easy to change. So that was I'm saying from the first, like you should work in layers. That's the main and primary thing that to be done in the Photoshop. If you work in the layers, and other things are quite easy. So I will add on to some more trees. So you can create something, a natural scene, or you can you can even use vehicles. There are many type of brushes available, so you can use them according to your needs. So you can use any vehicle. And I want this brush not to be so straight. So before placing this, I have my brush toolbar here, I mean panel here, and you can just flip over it. Like you can orient accordingly. So let me have it with the full opacity. It's too black. So let me reduce. So it so all you how you create a image with your brushes. So it's just it's because it's a empty artboard. We are customizing how we need our humans, your vehicles, and your trees. When it's you need to do for your diagrams at the conceptual level, it's easy to place them around your drawings. So I'll keep it here. So this is how basic thing for your Photoshop for your thing. and I will show you how to, like, a simple quick run through how to render a section with the basic things, and it's quite simple. It's a basic level render. Okay, so I have my line drawing. When you uh, make a line drawing in your CAD, and you can export them as a PDF format. So what you can do is, you need a background now. So I will click onto a new layer, and I will just make it white with the help of control backspace. So since my color is in white, uh, color palette is in white, so I'll behind, so I will make it as white, and I will just drag underneath. So when it's over my line drawing, it's like the line drawing is not visible. So when it's underneath, so it comes with the background at the back, my line drawing. So it's basically a simple section. So what can I do with it? So I need to make a section line, and I should color my section cuts black. So first, you do with you can do it with anything, brushes, or you can do it with pencils, or with anything. So let me change my brush first. So I'm selecting a brush, and select enter. So my opacity is in 100, and I need some more black. So here it goes. So you need to click on one edge and have your shift on, and you can select somewhere. So it need not to be perfect, right? Because the contour lines may vary. So I'm selecting somewhere here. So this beneath my section line has my ground plane, and above I have my line drawings. So I need to color the fillings black. So I create another layer. So let me rename them. I name it as section ground line, and I make them as cut section. So in the layers cut section, I will fill in with black. So everything that has been cut, let it be in black. So that is a rough outline of my overall section. So you can use, as I said, any type of brushes. So I have some brushes which can give me some smoky thing at my background. So let me take one of them. You can test it on your workboard, and you can control Z. So when I use my brush, it gets all over the place. So how should I stop it? Like, how can I prevent them getting into it? So so that's where your magic wand tool gets used. So when you click on to the your artboard, it's like it gives you a boundary, like it's it cannot be spreaded out of this place. So so make sure that your sample all layers are get checked. So because when it's in layers, it is selected like with the border of the section, border of the drawing, you have uh, taken. So when it's off, the whole board gets selected. So working in is quite important with the sample all layers checked. So click onto it and you can select the brush. So I find it to be too hard, so I may reduce my opacity, or I can also reduce my color a bit. So it gives you some kind of grayish tone uh, at the back, so it gives a quite bit of like depth to your drawing. And I will select some of my trees. I increase my opacity. So anything that's been done inside the selection, it doesn't go out. Like you do here, 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 it won't go out. It should be like it's like a protecting shield that don't overflows out of the selection. So I will quite reduce. So reduce my opacity and can make anything like that I need. So it gives nice atmosphere to your drawing. And next, to deselect them, I will select Control D. So Control D deselects the whole thing. And now, what can you do for your ground line? So your ground line can be done in many ways. So one of the quick and easiest way I will share with you. So create a layer and you can name it as, and you can ground, click on enter. So as I said, you can select the place where you need to color, or you need to do some changes so it don't overspills over the place. So you can right click on the paint bucket tool and you'll be able to see a gradient tool. So this gradient tool is helps you to make shades of a particular color at a single stroke. So all you need is to click on somewhere and you need to pull, so the gradient appears. So uh, again, the option bar contains some options related to the gradient. So you can select on what type of gradient you need. You can select anything, like you need to be like when you gradient something. Oh, I can't do it here. This gives you a transparent thing and the shades of the particular color, but whereas the first one gives you a white and the shades of a particular color. So it depends upon your use, and you can choose whatever gradient you need. So the opacity also can give you a different kind of shade. When it's high, the the shades gets more darker. When the opacity is low, and the shades become quite less. So this is a one way of making your um, ground. So deselect and you will find some gradient. So it can be also quite thick. So So it's not quite equal, so I need to make them equal so that my stroke should be straight to get a equal shade over the place. So all I do is clicking on to the shift and make your stroke so your line gets straight. So shift helps you to move with the straight, even you need to move this gradient. So what you do is hold on to the shift, so it never makes you to go the otherwise, like you can't move around in a random way. So it just gives you this is your path, like horizontal or vertical, that might be your path with the help of this shift. And I will reposition my gradient. And okay, let me. So I need to like kind of give some depth to the drawing in inner side. So I click onto a new layer. I rename it as drawing. So with the help of my paint bucket tool and my make sure your layers are checked in so that it gets filled within the line. When it's not in check, it just goes over the place, so it's not preferred. So make sure it's like checked in so that you get the perfect paint around the lines, within the lines. So I take some gray tones. I can even use my swatches here, so to bring in some gradients when it's like attached to or something. You need to give a depth to the drawing, so you can use a gradient like gray tones or even red tones, whatever tones you need. And like you can fill into like whatever color you need to the drawing. So I'll make some. So you can fill into it. So light. So you can select it wherever you need. So okay, now let me teach you another thing. Like I need to uh, select the background. So what should I do? So again, I select my magic wand tool and I go to trees. So when I select, the select is not like before, like it gets cramped with the edges of the trees and everything. So I need a whole selection of my background. So what should I do now? So um, just off your tree layers, and now you can select, you can switch into any other layer you want. You can place something else you need. It can be anything. So make sure it's quite transparent. And when you see through it, so you can see it in behind. So you can off the layer to select something, and you can even make a new layer, and you can make a new drawings in that layer, and you can turn on the switched off layer. So control D to deselect and the image comes. So okay, and there is some other options too which can be tried out. So you'll be able to see something, add a layer style in the layers panel at the bottom. So click onto it and you'll be able to see several type of options, like you can drop shadow, outer glow, pattern overlay, gradient, color. So in this click on to pattern overlay. Okay, wait. I will make a new layer and click onto it. So now the tab appears in your screen. So this pattern overlay is basically like you need to apply any kind of material. Um, just I will tell you something. You when you need to overlay some materials or some textures to your plans or sections or your diagrams, you can add a pattern which you want. So for example, I will show you one way of making it overlay. So let me open some drawings. So when I need this grass layer, so I will just open. So I need this image to be overlaid in my like my drawing. So I go to edit and define pattern. So it gives you a name. You can rename it, or it comes with a name. So you can click OK and just click OK. And you will be able to see the particular pattern in your pattern overlay. So here comes that green thing. So when you select a pattern overlay, just I will name it as one pattern. You can click on to the paint bucket tool and it just overlays. It's mostly preferred in plants. So since I have a section, I can't be like more of particular with it. So it's mostly preferred with plants. So let me open some of my old files. So it's all about this. When you overlay or something, so make sure you every time you overlay a particular texture or a particular pattern, make it in a new layer. So each layer has a defined pattern. If you click on to this layer and you want to make that green, no, it has this particular layer. So only that layer can be painted anywhere. So depending upon the opacity, the thing goes on. So when the layer 5 has like a concrete or a cement kind of texture, so you need to overlay it in some other places. You can just pour your bucket wherever you need it. It's just a easy thing that can be quickly done. It takes no time to do this, but it's all in a very conceptual level, or you want to try that how my drawing looks when my material is in of this kind, and you can like do it easily. So every time you choose a new pattern, you need to create a new layer. So the whole thing won't collapse. Like you can't make a pattern like with a single layer. You can't make different type of patterns. It's like preferred to be in one. Okay. So that's all you need to do is to know it and to know work in the correct layers and the opacity and how you move and you select, and these simple tools will give you a good diagrams, and it can be easily done for you. And okay, I have just one more thing to do. So uh, when all these layers are so collapsed, like I want to make it as a bundle, so you can create a group over here, next to the new layer. There is icon of a group, so you can group your layer, so you can just pull and put it in. So you can have like, you can know that these bunch of layers um, belong to this particular group. So you don't, if you need to like off a, a particular set of layers in a single click, you can make them in a group, so it's easy to on off everything. So you can just hide your visibility. So I have made one like, this is a kind of smoking thing. I just tried with my these tools, whatever I have taught you. I have used like the brush tools and the with the simple colors. That's it. So all my set of layers are in this group. So it's easy for me to hide as a whole thing, and I can easily make it visible with the help of the group. So I hope everyone understood everything. And okay, if anyone has any doubt, you can ask me now. Is there any questions?
Hello.
Yes.
Is there any specific website you would recommend to get brushes for architecture rendering and all?
You can use like uh, Breezy is quite like, when you type in, you will get recommends like Breezy, and I will wait a minute. I will check on. There is another particular thing for brushes. Wait a minute. Kale brushes, Kyle. You will get
Oh,
a
okay.
kind of watercolor brushes, and in those, like, you will have a huge number of variety in it. Kyle brushes.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome.
I've got a doubt.
Yes.
So we once we export the CAD file into PDF format,
Yes.
and we import the CAD file into Photoshop to do the editing. So does it
uh,
have the layer properties? Does it retain the layer properties?
no, it won't retain. This retaining happens only in Illustrator, another software called Illustrator, but Photoshop doesn't gets imported with all the layers.
Okay.
It just comes in as a PDF. And it's quite it only gets imported with the lines, and it doesn't even have a background. Just you need to make a background. Just I showed you in the section
Mhm.
is a CAD PDF, and it comes in only with the lines.
But the layer properties can be accessed in Illustrator.
Yeah, it can be accessed.
But you can't use things like marquee and layer mask in Illustrator, right?
Yes, you can, but it is not as simple as in Photoshop.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome. Any other questions? Okay. Okay. We team Pink, we have planned for more and more workshops too. So be in contact. You need not to leave the group. So we will update you in our Instagram page and in our WhatsApp link. So stay in connect. Uh, like if any you feel any difficulties while approaching, because we are here for you to help you out. So in this online platform we feel like uh, we don't even to like we don't get into our seniors very easily because of this online platform. uh, you may find a bit of difficulties in reaching out them. So we are here to help you out in anything. So you can, without any hesitation, you can reach us through our pages and the contacts given. um, so stay in connect, guys. Thank you for the cooperation.
Thank you.